What's going on, guys? Bob Roche from RocheTechnology.com here with yet another quick Hackintosh tip for you. This video probably won't be as quick as some of my other Hackintosh tips, however I do believe that it provides information on a pretty interesting topic, and that's using real Apple accessories in conjunction with a Hackintosh. Now, since Apple goes for simplification, even things like displays, keyboards, things like that, they're all meant to be plug and play, but the question is, are they on a Hackintosh? Let's go ahead and look a little bit further into this. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Can you use Apple accessories in conjunction with your Hackintosh? The answer for that is yes, and fortunately for you guys, it actually works extremely well. I would say like 99% as easy and as well as it does on a real Mac. And the first example you guys probably noticed behind me is that this is actually an Apple 27-inch Cinema display. It's not the Thunderbolt version of the display because I don't have a Thunderbolt motherboard, and really there's not many out on the market yet at all. That's really a brand new thing, but like I said, this is a cinema display, and actually it was very plug and play. Even things like on the display, you get your mini display cable and of course the USB cable for the USB ports on the back of the display. Now this is actually very simple. All you do is simply plug these connections into your OS X capable graphics card. That's the most important part here. The only somewhat hard part about this is getting a compatible graphics card that will work with this display. And when you boot on the computer, it just works. I mean, it's not a PC display. It is a Mac display that's meant to be used with Macs, and there is no other inputs on this display. But I have to say the display looks gorgeous. It works just as well as it does on a Mac. Even on the keyboard, the brightness controls work. I mean, it is a full OS X experience when it comes to this display, and it's being run on a Hackintosh. Some other examples of some great Apple accessories that work just as nicely on a Hackintosh are Bluetooth accessories such as keyboards, the Magic Trackpad, the Magic Mouse, things like that. They work absolutely great. So as you can see right now, I just have a very simple and very inexpensive Bluetooth adapter. It's a Targus ACB10 US, in case you guys are interested. All you do is plug that USB dongle into any USB port on your computer, go ahead and turn on your Bluetooth accessory, and it will pair and it'll function just like it would on a Mac. The multi-touch trackpad, the multi-touch gestures are there, the 3 and 4 finger swipes, the pinches on the Magic Mouse, the 2-finger gestures. The Apple keyboard works great. All these Bluetooth accessories, they function just as they would on a real Mac. Simply turning them on and just, maybe hitting a key or something, pairs it up instantly. It's just good to go. And while everyone's going to have their different opinion, especially gamers and people that don't like OS X, the Apple keyboard and the Magic Mouse are the best peripherals I've used. Like, the Magic Mouse is the best mouse I've used. The Apple keyboard is the best keyboard I've ever typed on. They're all just very simple products that work extremely well. The design just, it's minimalistic and it really does function great. I really don't want to type on any other keyboard anytime soon. And I'm not just saying that because it's an Apple keyboard. There are other alternatives such as the Logitech keyboard that's sort of like the Apple one. That one works very well as well. So I mean, just the sorts of keys they have, just everything about them, it works very well. And just because it's a Hackintosh, that doesn't mean that you can't get that experience as well. Some other accessories that I don't personally own yet, but I can vouch for that they work, are things like the Apple TV and a time capsule. The Apple TV, especially with Mountain Lion and their upcoming AirPlay feature, it works great. I've actually used it. It does work. Apple TV is just on the network. OS X sees it and it just works just like it would on a real Mac. Same thing with time capsule. It's just another device on your network, and OS X knows that it's something special, that it's it's meant to work together, and it just works the way it should, even though we're not on a real Mac here. The magic of the Apple experience isn't just in hardware such as keyboard and mouse or a display, but also there's a few things sprinkled throughout OS X that really kind of surprised me that they work so well. The first one is the system's automatic startup and shutdown time. Simply going into preferences, telling the computer to shut off at a certain time is no biggie. I mean, that is all just done right through OS X. I would kind of expect that to work, but the fact that you can actually have the PC start up as well through OS X, even though OS X has to go through the bootloader and everything, it still works great. And this is honestly a feature that I'm surprised works as well as it does. And so I'm going to be getting an apartment here pretty soon, and I'm going to have to be responsible for my electric and things. So having my computer off during the night and then just automatically just on when I wake up, that'll save me some money, and it's something that, like I said, you don't need a real Mac for because it works just as well on a Hackintosh. Another feature is iTunes Wi-Fi syncing to the iPad. I didn't really think this would work all that well, and actually it works very well. I really haven't had many problems with it. I bring my iPad home, I can sync it from the iPad while I'm in bed. iTunes, I have it set up on my desktop here to automatically download new episodes of Twit and MacBreak Weekly, so I can just come home. It's already downloaded in iTunes, but I don't have to come up to my desk and just hook my iPad up. I can be in bed and I can just hit sync on my iPad, and it'll wirelessly transfer that podcast to my iPad beautifully. I mean, there's no setup. And that's, like I said, in part 1 of my Hackintosh from Start to Finish series, I actually said that it's really not the Apple experience. Well, it seems to me that with every OS X release, Apple is sort of giving us freebies. I mean, our hardware just seems to become more and more compatible with these Mac-only features. So things like this really do just work without any configuration. They work just like they would on a real Mac, which is exactly why I did this video, because I think everyone should, if they want to run OS X, I found that the more Apple products that you have surrounding it, the better your overall technological experience will be. Anything just from being on the computer to wanting to watch something on your TV in the living room, if you have an Apple product at both ends, things will just work better for you. That's how usually it's always been. If you have two products from the same company, that they just tend to work a little bit better. And there's really no exception here, even though it's a Hackintosh. I've said that many times in this video. I realize that, but it's true. So at the end of the day, I highly recommend you guys checking out some of Apple's accessories and products. Things like displays, keyboards, they do just work extremely well, and they're actually almost just as plug and play as they are on a real Mac. So if you like using OS X, the Apple experience really doesn't stop there. If you continue to buy some of their accessories, your experience will be even better. So that's all I have for you guys for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm at CPUKid on Twitter. Also be sure to check out RocheTechnology and at RocheTechnology.com on Twitter. And I'll see you guys in my next video.